And I'm just saying that if you can get an espresso maker and like a pen out of the same gift guide, like the comparison is nothing. Oh, hi, didn't see you there. My name's Dan
Oh,
Selcke, and I am one of two co-hosts of the show Take the Black, which is the show that you're watching right now. The show where we go over all things
yeah.
fantasy, sci-fi, movies, television, from the last 7 days of pop culture. I'm Dan Selcke. This is Daniel Roman. Daniel Roman, how are you doing up there in snowy Saskatchewan?
Snowy Saskatchewan. I don't know where that is, but snowy somewhere up here. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm waving around a pen like it is a wand. So that,
Hmm.
gives you a good view into my headspace right now. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be here and talk excellent and less than excellent shows of 2022. How are you, Dan? And how are you out there?
I'm well. I'm actually pretty excited too because this is going to be we have some cool things planned for this program. Hello, Martha. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We are going to be ranking definitively the top 15
Definitively.
TV shows of 2022 from what did I say? From least to beast. That's what I came up with. From worst to best,
Ooh, I like that.
right? It was really stupid. I really
That's
liked it.
good.
I'm looking forward to that. But first, I thought that we would go take a little tour of Los Angeles
Ooh.
this past weekend because HBO officially held the Game of Thrones official fan convention, the first officially licensed Song of Ice and Fire House of the Dragon Game of Thrones fan convention that has ever been. And it was neat. It happened. I'll be honest, I'm a little biased against it because I went to some of the more unofficial-ish Game of Thrones fan conventions, and I still have my heart is still there. But we had Camilla go there for us. She did a great job of covering it, and I thought that we would
Yeah,
go
she
over
did.
it. Ooh, nice. And just see what we could see. You ready, Daniel?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. I am curious, as we're about to go into pictures, you said you're a little biased because of what Con of Thrones is the one you've been to?
Yeah, well, I'm a
Um,
little biased because Con of Thrones was okay, A, old school. B, I was there and I
yeah,
wasn't at this one.
fill us in.
And see,
Okay.
well, apparently, what I liked about those conventions where they had these like kind of fan panels, where they had like
Yeah.
gender and sexuality in Westeros and why Cersei's a great character and like all these like things that I was on. I got to be in these things. And it seems like this one was more about
Okay.
the celebrity guests, which is great. But
Yeah.
I want some fan voices. I don't want to go going negative though. I do love the
Yeah, that's
photos of
fair.
all the celebrities who came there. For instance, we have here, huh? Okay. Hello, Julie. Good to see you. For instance, we have Kit Harington with Patty Considine, new meets old, Targaryen meets Targaryen, Game of Thrones meets House
Yeah.
of the Dragon. This was cool because it's a convention where the new and old casts are getting together, sharing the convention space, not the stage, and where Kit Harington
Yeah.
debuted his sort of circle beard. What do you think of that,
It's a
Daniel,
it's
and
it
people out
is
there?
it a circle? It looks like a handlebar mustache to me, which is biker chic.
Oh, does
I
it
guess
not
it
like go
depends on if it
down
connects.
under
I
the
don't
chin?
think
I guess you're
so.
right.
That'd be real weird. That'd be real weird if it connected on the bottom and it's just a little circle thing.
We
But
shouldn't
yeah,
be paying
no,
attention to
he's
that. But yeah.
yeah, that is definitely the most important thing we have to talk about from these pictures is Kit Harington's mustache. But this is kind of cool. It is cool to see the cast from the prequel meeting,
Oh,
or not, maybe
completely.
not meeting, but hanging out with the cast from the original. King Vizzy T here.
Mhm.
He was always real concerned about prophecies and such. Here he is hugging one of the dudes that's going to make the prophecy come
The
true.
Song of Ice
I
and
like
Fire.
that.
And hello,
Exactly.
Camilla. She's Camilla Cervello is in the YouTube comment. She went there for
Oh
us, got
yeah.
great coverage, took amazing pictures. Camilla, just thanks so much again for doing all that. It was really,
Yes,
really
thank
remarkable. I'm
you.
glad we got to cover it. What's the next pick
And
tour?
we need to know. She says there's a reason for the stash. So Camilla, let us know.
Really?
It seems like you know the deets. Let us know why there's that stash. But
I'm
yeah, so
curious.
speaking of stashes, our next picture that we have is kind of the two worst kings hanging around together. Jack Gleason and Tom Glencarney. That's King Joffrey and King Aegon II. Probably really wonderful people, even though they play despicable ones.
I'm no doubt. It is just fun to see a colliding of worlds. Not to be mean, there were a lot of fun comments on this picture. People saying that Jack Gleason looks like he reformed his evil ways and is now teaching AP history, that kind of thing.
I can see
it's
it.
very cute. They look great. I do hope that Aegon doesn't get lumped in with Joffrey levels of evil. But I guess it's a question for House of Dragon season 2, not so much now. It's just fun seeing them together. Is Tom Glencarney wearing some kind of tie without a shirt, or is that just like the collar of the shirt he's wearing under that?
I think it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. It's either a fashionable neck kerchief or the lining of another shirt. And I can't enhance that much to be certain.
If anybody knows, let me know. Ooh, Camilla says that the reason Jon Snow, the reason Kit Harington has a handlebar mustache is because he's filming a different show that's not Snow. Interesting. I wonder if he's taking us to Sturgis 2008, the biker rally. I'd watch that. We'll see.
One can only hope.
Did he say what it was, Camilla, or just that he's filming something with that epic stash? I'd be very curious to know. And of course, we have the lovely cosplay. We have the lovely props. They brought in Balerion the Dread's Black Skull. That's pretty cool. We got a Rhaenyra and I'm blanking on the name of the Harold Westerling is what I'm going to guess those two are. It's also cool to see, people who are dressed up as the House of Dragon characters, not just the Game of Thrones characters.
That guy, he looks an awful lot like Boromir Baratheon. I don't know who he's supposed to be. Could be a Stark. I don't know. He's got maybe the outfit of a Stark and the haircut of a Boromir Baratheon. But it's fun to see cosplay. There was a lot of amazing cosplay. Yeah, he swears fealty to young Rhaenyra in the premiere, right? I think that's Boromir. And he's got that exact same hairstyle and beard.
That's a deep cut. They could be, though, because cosplay people, I respect them, and I have nothing but admiration for them. As Camilla says, he didn't 10-4, Camilla. We cannot reveal the detail of what Kit Harington is growing that stash for, but it has a purpose. The cosplay was great. We got this from the cosplay contest, which of course there was one, there always is. It's just fun. And these people go all out. The cons I went to, they went all out, and that has not changed. The spirit of passion among cosplayers, the attention to detail and craft never ceases to bowl me over. I think the one Jon Snow put like scars on his face over there to like after his hand was raked by something. He's got a bucket of chicken for the hound. Just good stuff.
Okay.
I love cosplay.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always cool to see the fans who really go hard on the cosplay. I keep staring at the next picture that we have to look at, which is a pretty sweet Daenerys Targaryen, Queen of Dragons cosplay, kind of mirroring that iconic scene from the series finale where she's walking along the top of the castle at King's Landing, and you see Drogon's wings behind her. That's pretty sweet. That's a cool cosplay.
As Camilla says, not a single meh costume at all. I'm surprised. And yeah, that's a great one, obviously.
Cool.
Ugh, God, that must be just, how do you walk around in that?
Very, very carefully. I had to think for a sec. I wasn't actually that delayed. But yeah, I mean, it's got to be quite an arduous process. You imagine that this Dany's not wearing those wings all weekend. I hope she wasn't.
Gotta put them away. I mean, I'm sure you'll have like really back by the end. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great time. According to Camilla, it retracts. Nice. How do you get the bus that on?
Well, that's pretty rad.
There was no info on Snow. Caden's asking about Snow over on the YouTube.
Did you say Snow info?
I didn't mean to, but there was
Okay.
Snow info about Snow. Cute. But no, not particularly. Kit Harington did say that basically he went on this kind of I thought well-informed little speech about him thinking about Jon Snow's state of mind at the end of Game of Thrones, how he's killed his queen, the woman he loves, how he got exiled to the Wall, how he has to think about, like, back to the place where Ygritte died in his arms. He's just think about all these terrible things that he's done in his life, has no prospects. He's not okay, was the quote that got away. And I can kind of envision why he might want a new Jon Snow series, right? I picture Kit Harington like just kind of turning over in his bed at night, just thinking like, Jon Snow has more story to tell. I've got to tell it. And he's thinking like, oh, he's not okay. I gotta do the next thing, and then going into, and then calling his producer friends, going into HBO and making this pitch and getting sort of we can develop it but not make it approved. It's good to know that that the wheels are clearly turning, even though the show isn't actually greenlit formally. As Caden asks, is there a possibility that Snow will be the best story of A Song of Ice and Fire, even though it's not written by George R. R. Martin? I mean, yeah, it's possible.
Anything's possible.
Personally, I doubt it, but it's possible. Yeah.
I think this quote really reassured me. Like, this is kind of exactly what I would hope for in a Jon Snow spinoff. Like, if they're gonna do one, like really exploring kind of, the mental state of this haggard warrior hero who watched all his loved ones die or had a hand in murdering some of them and is now living in exile. I do think it's interesting. I hope that if that spinoff happens, which I do hope it happens, that it doesn't like give Jon Snow a nice, clean, happy ending. Because that feels like it would be kind of uncharacteristic of like George R. R. Martin stories. Because like cut and dry happy endings are not really a thing he does in like any of his books. Like not even just A Song of Ice and Fire, like all of his other books, like to have like Jon Snow like reconcile and find a new love and whatever, like that, it'd be a little weird. So I hope they really dial into that guilt if and when that show does happen. But speaking of George, there were some other cool quotes that cropped up at the fan convention. Ryan Condal revealed that he knows some secrets from the Winds of Winter because George R. R. Martin just casually mentions them when he's explaining like Targaryen mythologies and things like that. And Condal doesn't necessarily like it. Yeah, his response was, I just want to read the book like a regular fan because he's been a fan of these things for so long. And then there was a deleted scene too. Did you have a chance to check that out, Dan?
Yes, I did. It was very cool. Yeah.
What did you think?
They showed a deleted scene between Baela and Rhaenys, where Baela's like rearing to go to war, and Rhaenys is like, take it easy. We're not ready to have a part in this from the finale. It was cool. I guess what most surprised me was Ryan Condal saying that they cut it for time, that HBO is like really is giving them like time limits. Like, you've got to come in under this, which I guess surprised me a little bit. I don't know. I think with a show this big, that they might just say like, it's the Game of Thrones prequel. If you could run a little long to make the show better. But I also respect them trying to, not be like, it's not TV, it's a movie on TV. No, like, it's a TV show. TV shows are an hour long. TV shows come out one a week, 10 a season. I do kind of like that. It's a good scene though, and it'll be in the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever release, digital home video, etc. and so forth. I did want some more character bits in the season, and this was a good character bit. But gotta strike that balance.
This was probably one of my
pushing the story forward and give it. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm gonna blame the delay and not my rudeness. Yeah, I think this was one of my favorite like Baela scenes. Was this deleted scene? So it is nice. It is nice to get like the little bit more character stuff in scenes like this, and I'm excited to see the other ones. And yeah, I'm with you on being like a little surprised that was the reasoning, was like basically HBO told them that for some episodes they could go long, like episode 6, because they were introducing new cast. HBO kind of gave them a looser lead on the episode time, but for the finale they said we need it to stick to X amount of time because it airs in various territories around the world. Some of them insert commercials into the episode, which, shoot me right now if I'm so sorry if you are watching House of the Dragon with commercial breaks. But yeah, it's fascinating to see, you know, an HBO program, HBO's biggest show, still wrangling with those things, whereas like Stranger Things on Netflix, they were like 2.5 hours for your finale. You go do what you want, duffers. And Condal did say if we were just streaming, these conversations wouldn't be happening. So it is because of linear television. But
it's also kind of nice though too that like it doesn't have like, it's a TV show. Like it's not trying to be a newfangled thing, and it's like innovating within the form. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I like the scene, and
yeah,
it's a good scene. I agree, Camilla. It was very, very nice.
Yeah,
the first time in years.
Yeah, I saw my dot. Yeah, that line.
Nice.
That line was so good.
But
yeah,
you know,
do you want to hit on anything else about the fan convention? It's okay.
I don't.
Again, delay, not rudeness.
I don't even know about that. I'm pretty good. I was gonna do a little segue.
Okay.
You know, House of the Dragon is a TV show, and there have been so many TV shows that came out in 2022, and we are now here at the end of the year of our Lord 2022, going to, with you out there watching. Let's put them in order. The candidates are House of the Dragon, obviously. Stranger Things, season 4, which was a big old deal. The Sandman on Netflix. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which made a big splash and will not be in the top 5, probably not the top 10. Star Wars Andor, which came out of nowhere to be a really, really good show, and I might want it to be number 1. I'm not sure yet. The Orville New Horizons, which Daniel loved. I'm at like the end of season 2, by the way. I'm still watching, but I haven't gotten New Horizons yet.
Cool. Yeah, so you don't even know. Another one that came out of nowhere.
Although I am liking it quite a bit, even in season 2. Ms. Marvel, because we had to have at least one Marvel show on there because they put out like 3. So good for them.
And that was our favorite of the 3.
I think so. I think that was my favorite.
Yeah. I think so too.
The Boys
not
season
counting
3.
Werewolf.
Not sure. Well, that's like a special. The Boys season 3, pretty good. The Last Kingdom, which I fully forgot even came out this year. Wednesday, our newest entry, this kind of new, fun, young adult, spooky horror show. It's taking the world by storm. Raised by Wolves season 2, which is Daniel's pick.
Yes.
I didn't watch it, but you love it. Another one that I didn't watch.
Trust me, if you watched it, you'd know why it should be on the list.
I would know why it's here. Severance.
Both of those shows.
I mean, Severance made a splash on Apple TV Plus, kind of a workplace sci-fi genre with Adam Scott, who I do like. Westworld season 4, which might be a candidate for the. We'll talk about that soon. His Dark Materials season 3, which I've almost done with. I've watched 6 of 8 episodes, so I feel qualified to say where it goes. And finally, Interview with the Vampire, which rocked my world pretty good. And some honorable. Daniel, do you want to take some honorable mentions before we really get rolling?
Yeah. Let me talk honorable mentions. So the biggest one that some of you probably are thinking right now. So The Walking Dead is not on this list. The final season of The Walking Dead happened. That is an honorable mention because, like Dan said, neither of us has seen it. So it'd feel a little disingenuous to be debating its merits when neither of us has watched it. A few other honorable mentions: The Expanse, which did have its series finale this year in January, but because most of the season took place in 2021, we're excluding that from the rankings. Beyond that, there are a few shows that didn't make it on that they were pretty good or notable in some ways. So like Peacemaker, excellent show, but wouldn't have knocked off any of the ones on the list for us. Same for All Mankind and The Peripheral, also great shows.
Good.
Or I haven't seen For All Mankind, but that's what I hear. Star Trek
Good.
Strange New Worlds is
Made
another
a nice
one that a
splash.
lot of people like that I
Folks
haven't
seem to
watched.
like it.
Yeah, made a nice splash. Halo is
The
we're
Orville's
gonna
on here.
honorable mention that because
Was it
yeah,
good?
the Orville's on here, and we kind of
Or
it
Star
was
Trek.
debating between Westworld and Halo, and they're kind of opposites. Like Westworld was a good show with some bad moments. Halo was a mediocre show with good moments. So off the list. Obi-Wan Kenobi, notable for the Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen of it all, even though it wasn't the best Star Wars show of the year. And Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which I loved a lot, and that's all I'll say about it. Couldn't fit it on the list. Great show.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if there are technical
Shall we
difficulties.
rank?
Finanian asked Firanian. Tell me if I'm saying that wrong. Asked about Our Flag Means Death. We liked it. Our Flag Means Death was on our list, but we didn't. We're gonna try and keep this to a sci-fi fantasy. So it was. I liked Our Flag Means Death,
Except
but...
for Uhtred.
Oh yeah. Well, that's true. Okay, fine. The Last
Uhtred
Kingdom
never
is...
ages. It is fantasy.
Our 5 minutes will have other opportunities to get on the list later. We tried to keep it sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah.
I guess we failed.
We
from that
we can
case,
we can note Our Flag Means Death in this honorable mention section. It was a decent show. For me, it would not have knocked off any of the shows of the 15 we're gonna rank, though. I don't think it was better than any of those. It was decent though.
Westworld, maybe.
I enjoyed it. Westworld,
yeah, maybe season 2. But anyway, okay. Let's get ranking, and feel free to pitch in your ideas because we're gonna need some help here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just throw out first that I'm not sure what should go in the first spot. My heart says House of the Dragon, but I think we should. Sorry.
Well, but I was going to ask if you want to start at the top or the bottom, because I do think you've got a few strong contenders for that top spot.
You got House of the Dragon.
There you go, Richard. We can leave House of the Dragon nice and big up there.
Okay, for now. But all I'm saying is I think there are other, like, I want to talk whether Andor should be in there. I really do. I think that has a chance of knocking it out. Anything else that might take the top spot?
I'm gonna preach about the Orville too.
For the top spot, it's gonna be a hard one.
It's gonna be a hard one, and honestly, man, I ran out of ugly tears in this season of that show. So yeah, there are a few. We'll have to talk about the top spot. The competition is fierce.
Like The Sandman was really good. Stranger Things was really, really good.
It was.
So yeah, there's some good stuff.
We have an embarrassment of riches.
There you go. Okay, the bottom spot. But obvious candidates are Westworld season 4 on here.
Mm-hmm.
The Rings of Power could maybe be argued. Looking at this list, I'm thinking Westworld, though. I don't see, and it's not even that it was god awful. I think it was better than the season before. But it got to the end and it just did that Westworld thing it does, where it kind of makes it about the ideas, not the characters, and it just sort of gets away from the interesting, visceral, relatable bits. And I just sort of lost interest. So
I was salty.
So Camilla's with us. I mean, and again, I was liking that season more than I had liked the show in a while. I think season 4 was better than season 3, but the end kind of petered out. And I'm not that upset that it was even canceled. So yeah, bye Westworld. You got on the list. Congratulations. We're getting some people who are saying first should be House of the Dragon. I think that's what I'm going to argue for. But we'll see when we get there. How about the second worst?
It's gotta be Lord of the Rings, right?
You think?
Looking at these shows,
it might have to be.
Well, I haven't seen his Dark Materials, so if you want to argue that that's worse than Lord of the Rings, then have at you.
I will not argue it's worse than Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power was a show that I was kind of fun watching it. It was not well put together in too many ways.
I agree with that.
There were parts when my interest was more acute and I was looking at it harder. I liked those two. I liked the hobbits. What else did I like?
Yeah.
I also liked the dwarves.
Numenor. I know you hated Numenor. I liked
It was
Numenor.
just so dull, and there was so much of it, and it never got better. I thought the dragging out who is Sauron thing was more tedious than it was interesting. I thought it ticked up toward the end. I liked the battle episode was fun because it was
Episode
well
6.
done. That was fun.
Yeah, it was.
The fight, but like kind of just mostly because it was a well shot battle, not because like I was really invested in these people. Was kind of what the pleasure I derived from it. The finale was better.
Same.
I didn't like the mythology changes. Yeah, I'm happy with it at number 14.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of deserves it because there are really, really astounding aspects of like production aspects of the Rings of Power. Like they really did a fantastic job like on the Numenor sets. Like those things, some of the cinematography in the early episodes was great, but like it really struggled to keep my interest like as it went from point A to B. And too conveniently was really like, all right, our characters need to go do this thing now. Halbrand is on the verge of death. He needs elvish medicine. Put that guy on a horse and make him ride 1,000 miles to the nearest healer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start ranting about Rings of Power. Yeah, 14 for sure.
Okay, good. I'm good with that. Can I get your opinion on some of the ones that I didn't watch? Like, how good were Wednesday, Raised by Wolves, and Severance? Because I didn't watch those. So, like, where are you thinking in this?
So my personal opinion, I think Miss Marvel is going to go in the 13th spot.
Because I don't know.
Raised. Well,
like I would
let me know what you think is worse.
Maybe above His Dark Materials.
What would you rank it above?
His Dark Materials.
That's
maybe.
fair. Okay, so Wednesday. Yeah, so let me talk about Wednesday Raised by Wolves. You said Miss Marvel. Wednesday.
So you think all?
I said Miss Marvel. Yeah. I do. I think Wednesday is it's a fun show. It's really good at being what it is, which is kind of like a YA Addams Family Hogwarts thing with really funny gallows humor, because Wednesday just has like excellent gallows humor lines all throughout the show. I think it set out to achieve exactly what it was trying to. We could maybe debate between Miss Marvel and Wednesday, but I just think that Wednesday is a little more, the mysteries are a little more cohesive in Wednesday. Like I felt kind of apathetic toward especially the villains of Miss Marvel. I think it was a solid, like, me too. And I think it was a solid origin story. I think the cultural aspects of Miss Marvel were standout excellent.
I really liked the trip back to the partition. I thought that was nice. I liked the central character. I thought Kamala Khan was appealing. But
so those two, we can kind of debate those two maybe. Severance was excellent. Severance is one I pushed for on this list because a lot of people loved that show. And so basically the idea of Severance is people go to work, they don't remember their outside life. It's like their mind is severed, so their work self and their at home self are different, which means they can't like remember if they have families, like they could have a relationship at work and not remember they're married outside of work. And they did all sorts of super, super interesting things with that premise. And I was on the edge of my seat right down to the final credits of that. So I think that one probably deserves to be near the top, honestly.
Let me ask you.
Raised by
you think that so Wednesday beats Miss Marvel for you. What is better, Severance or Raised by Wolves?
It's close.
Sure.
Severance.
Okay, so Severance is better than Raised by Wolves.
Easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Raised by Wolves is great. I enjoyed season 2. Season 1 was a little bit better, I think. Season 2, it's just such an acid trip, that show. You never know what you're gonna see next. that was one show I had to give my partner a warning. Like, if you hear me going, "Oh, holy shit," like I'm just watching Raised by Wolves. Everything's fine. Yeah, great dark sci-fi, but not better than Severance.
Do you think it's better than Wednesday, Raised by Wolves?
Ooh, that's hard.
Ooh.
That's hard because they're so
Apples and
different. Like Raised by
oranges.
Wolves, they really are. Like Wednesday is like an accessible show people of all ages can watch, and Raised by Wolves is like horrifying adults high concept sci-fi. Um I think we could probably put Wednesday above it.
Okay, it's nice. By the way, Julie's made me laugh with saying some people forget they're married when they go to work in real life. But
nice.
Okay. And the one that I saw that you didn't that I would put in Erased by Wolves in the next spot. Do you think it's better than Miss Marvel?
No, I forgot. Nah. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm all over the place. It's definitely better than Miss Marvel.
The lower, the okay ones. And for me, the one that I saw that you didn't that I would put in this area is His Dark Materials, which is an adaptation of a solid but difficult book series that I have read twice now. Whatever for this freaking show. And it's always been good. And I think this third season is better than the previous two because they kind of got to the weirder material.
Yeah,
it's the more stirring material, and there have been moments that have stirred me. Like I have watched this show and been like a little choked up. I've also been bored. So it's been up and down.
That's pretty fair.
I think I would put it above. Put it above Miss Marvel. I think
I'll just throw.
I think I would because Miss Marvel, while it was cute, didn't really move me.
Yeah,
maybe we can.
What I was going to say, I haven't seen season 3. I think it's got to be, and it's not a knock against Miss Marvel. It's just how good everything else was.
Yeah, that's what our excuse is.
It really is though, because His Dark Materials, I have seen the first 2 seasons. I haven't watched season 3 yet, and I totally agree with what you said. Really good at times. Also, just kind of plodding along at others.
There's like a blandness to it that it returns to too often.
A little, yeah.
Or like,
but when it doesn't have
just write
blandness, it can be very good.
Yeah. Like, and I will say this season is better because like this is the one where they're killing God. This is the one where they're going to the eternal purgatory. This is the one where things get strange, and they do go there. It's the one with the Mulefa and the real riding, talking elf people. Like it gets weird, and I do like that. Like there's skill and there's craft there. There's always something missing with that show that never quite sparked to me, but I like it. I admire it. It should be on the list, but it probably shouldn't be that high. I bet Wednesday is better. I haven't watched Wednesday, but it looks more fun if nothing else.
Yeah, I think there's a decent chance that is the case. Because I will say my next lowest is probably Raised by Wolves, which I really enjoyed, but I don't think I don't know if I would say it's better than Wednesday, because Wednesday is just so good at being what it is.
Sure.
I think Raised by Wolves season 2 kind of had a little bit of hits and misses, but I would definitely put it above what I've seen of His Dark Materials, because it was never it's an exciting show. It definitely keeps you guessing. It's weird as hell. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. But yeah, I think so I think Raised by Wolves would go above His Dark Materials in my opinion.
And then Wednesday.
And then Wednesday.
Are there other things that would beat out Wednesday? Probably like anything on here I think would isn't as good, like Stranger Things, Sandman.
Honestly,
The Boys.
My next ones beyond Wednesday are The Boys, and I was going to ask you about Interview with the Vampire. I loved the last season of The Last Kingdom.
I liked the last season of The Last Kingdom. I really liked the end. Definitely.
Yeah.
The Last Kingdom, I guess my issue with that one, I always liked it. never less than good. It just kind of like went through so many years. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's like a thing where it kind of, I don't know what I'm saying. I didn't feel, I'm comparing it in my head to like Game of Thrones, and just it's not as dramatic to me. Like I wanted it
No,
also to,
it's
I don't
based
know,
on real history,
to kind of hit me
Dan. It
more.
can't
No,
be as dramatic.
but also no, it's not. Like, and you shouldn't say it 'cause that's stupid. Like it absolutely is not. There are people in it whose names are the same as people in real history, but like, not
Correct.
really. Uhtred's not
Yes.
real, and
And
he's the reason we're all here. The characters like
that's true.
aren't as vibrant as they could be. Even though I like the show a lot, I'm thinking The Last Kingdom is somewhere in this next stretch. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking now we're
I think
talking
you're
The Boys, The Last Kingdom, and what else? Maybe Stranger Things could be in this stretch.
Maybe. So I just want to point out, so
Severance,
Robert
Interview with
Harris
the
trying to
Vampire, all in there.
guess what number 12 was. Yes,
Uh-huh.
that is Professor X. He plays a character on his Dark Materials, James McAvoy.
Yes, Lord Asriel.
Okay, so this next stretch, I think The Last Kingdom's a fair one because I think I would put most of the remaining things above it, except for
I think so.
I'm on the fence
too.
about The Boys. I think
The Boys
The
was good. The
Boys.
Boys is always fun. I thought The Boys kind of chickened out at the end, but I remember more
Did
of
you
The
like it
Boys
more
than
than
I do The Last Kingdom. But I guess I did see it
okay?
more
Okay.
recently. But
The
honestly,
Last Kingdom,
there was like a
I just
tidiness
think
to
it
The
has a
Boys I didn't
great
like.
ending.
It did have a
Yeah.
great ending. I liked the ending a lot. I was moved. Those two are close.
Yeah.
Do
They
we
are.
think? Okay, by the way, so just so we know which ones we're not talking about. Like in contention for the top spots are like House of the Dragon, I'm guessing, Star Wars
Yeah,
Andor, the Orville New
definitely.
Horizons. Do you
Mhm.
think that Severance is in there, like the top four, that top row in contention?
I think
mean,
it's yes. I think it's in
okay.
contention. I it's I feel like Severance and Interview with the Vampire are going to be kind of the
really
two
good.
which is going to be hard
Sure.
because we've each seen one.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna be
I
hard.
like it's
The
hard
Sandman will be up
because
there. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out
yeah.
which ones.
We're into the difficult portion of the
I
show. So can
know.
I just sound off the ones we have left? I'm going to exclude The Boys in the Last Kingdom so that you guys in the chat
those two
can
are
start
next.
shouting out your favorites for us. So the ones after The Boys in the Last
I think
Kingdom, which are
Interview's
going to be
better
8
than The Boys in the Last Kingdom.
I totally believe that.
Okay.
So all right.
Well,
So beyond those ones, what we have left is Severance, Interview with the Vampire, The Orville New Horizons, Star Wars Andor, The Sandman, Stranger Things Season 4, and House of the Dragon. Those are going to
Okay.
be our top 7.
Yeah.
I think.
I think The Boys should go at 9 and The Last Kingdom at 8. I think the ending of The Last Kingdom was very good. I think that gives it some weight. And The Boys was a lot of fun. It didn't go as far as I think it should have.
I agree.
I wanted to go further. I wanted it because that show is like so. It's always been kind of a daring show where it's like not your daddy superhero show. We're gonna take superheroes and we're gonna put them on their head.
Yeah.
We're gonna make them do all kinds of heinous things, and they did do heinous things, like the opener where the guy explodes out the front of the man's penis. But heinous things like weren't enough. Like
where do they go from there? But down.
I wanted like more daring on kind of the macro level and not just the exploding penis micro level. Even that
totally agree with that.
The Last Kingdom,
I felt like they kind of pulled the punch near the end.
Yeah, it did. Kill Maeve. And The Last Kingdom, it was good all the way through, and that final bit was really powerful, and it helps to. It's the final season. It helps to end on a good note. So good for you, Last Kingdom.
Yep. Okay. A few really standout parts of that. Brida's last episode was this season,
that was good.
And that was really good. Uhtred having to execute a certain relative was also very good. I won't say anything more for spoilers if you haven't seen it. always be executing. So yeah, that brings us to our top 7. Where do we go from here, Dan?
Okay, so
This is
I've seen the
hard. This is
interview,
harder
and
than I
you've
expected.
seen the Orville, and you want and Severance. Okay, I'm part of me wants to put House of the Dragon in the top spot, and part of me there were parts of House of the Dragon season 1 that I didn't enjoy. I just straight up I didn't like some of the choices they made. It's also the series that affected me the most. I mean, maybe because I think so much about it, and it's like my job to think about it. But like it was, I will say nothing this year made me tear up or just think harder than the bit where Viserys walks through the throne room. Nothing. That was to me, that was my moment of the year. That was, I think, the best moment of the year for me on TV. I didn't watch New Horizons, so whatever. Maybe something better there.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
though.
it had great highs. I think it had some lower ebbs. The Kristen Cole killing Joffrey Lonmouth bit I didn't like. Episode 9 I thought was kind of wrongly handled, which is why I'm not sure it belongs in #1 spot, but I'm not sure what would take its place either. So I'm not committed there.
Yeah.
Andor,
okay.
Oh my God, just front to back. That show
was excellent.
Was written like a tight steel drum. That thing
it was
fortified, buttressed everywhere perfectly. Like there wasn't a hair out of place. There wasn't a bantha out of the stable, whatever the metaphor is, from far, far away. And parts of it were sort of slow. That was kind of my problem. Like House of the Dragon, first episode grabbed me. Like that one had a great hook. I did think Andor took longer to take off, and there were like these kind of slower patches in there. So that would be its weakness. But I think both of those were contention for my #1 spot. I think I would give, if I were voting, I'd say House of the Dragon, just because I guess I value the ability to punch me in the gut emotionally more than I value like perfection. But mileage could definitely vary.
Yeah, I think we are in the your mileage may vary section of the tally. And for me, it's going to be between House of the Dragon and the Orville. And Andor. Those are my top 3.
You really liked
I agree
the Orville,
about,
didn't you? Damn.
Man, I can't tell you. I ugly cried like 4 episodes in a row. We talk about shows with like being as strong as their weakest link type thing. The Orville, like they kind of wrote this as if it could be the final season of the show. And I think it, like Andor, it took a little bit to get going. The first 3 episodes were a little rocky. And then by episode 3, it started really taking off. But from 4 to the end was like basically a flawless season of television. And once it hit that point. But
the top 3?
So
because I think the other 4 are not quite at that level.
Yes,
I haven't seen Severance,
those should be the top 3.
I think you're probably right. And
Severance,
I think Severance, House of the Dragon top spot.
Yeah, Vizzy T walking across that throne room. That I do think that was probably a moment of the year in television for me.
Oh, so good. Richard loved Tale of Two Topas, which I will get to. I know who Topa is. I'm on season 2.
Yes, Tale of Two Topas, that episode. I think the Orville, if it won awards for any episode, it should be that one. Okay. But so let's take a step back. I think those are probably going to be our top 3.
That's great.
House of the Dragon and or the Orville. So that leaves us with Stranger Things, Severance, and Interview.
And Sandman.
The Sandman.
Yeah. Stranger Things, Interview, Severance, and Sandman.
This is hard because it's a taste thing.
It is. Also, I haven't seen Severance. Stranger Things, Severance, Interview, and The Sandman. Stranger Things was fun, man. They're never less.
It was a big season.
They're never less than extremely committed to what they're doing, which I really appreciate. I mean, I was with everybody else. I did love the bits where Max is running away to the Kate Bush song, and it was really fun watching, and it was
Yeah.
emotional. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean,
that Vecna
it's
reveal.
kind of, but you know what? Okay, here we go. I pretty much was bored through the entire Russian prison plot. I remember that. I think they should have killed Jim Hopper and just let him go.
Yeah,
it
that's
almost
not an
loves its
unfair
characters too
stance.
much. In a way, I think that show does. Like, it can't go. And then
So let me ask
Sandman,
you.
yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think Severance was better than Stranger Things 4.
I'm willing
again,
to
your
believe that.
your mileage may vary, but Severance was basically perfect at what it did.
Cool.
And I do agree there were times where I felt like Stranger Things dragged. I wondered about Jim Hopper, whether they should have killed him too. Stranger Things 4 had really high highs though when it was hitting its stride.
It did.
So my question for you, between Interview, The Sandman, and Stranger Things, how would you rank them?
I would
Those
put
are the
Interview
three for
and
that.
Sandman both above the Stranger Things. I think I would put Stranger Things at 7. Honestly, it would be my choice, and just trust that Severance is better, which I'm willing to do.
Yeah,
the Sandman
that's
had
a fair
like
trust.
a Shaggy Dog kind of. There was a bit of ungainliness to it sometimes because the story is so bizarre, and it takes so much faith from everybody to even make it happen. Like, that anybody would give money to adapt the show where the silent spider women live in the house with the place that is now Stephen Fry, and they all live together and have a little dream walk together. It takes a lot of faith, and I think the weakest parts of the show were the parts of the comic, because I'm a fan of the comic where I mean, that whole arc was kind of like from the comic, but it was written by like a 25-year-old who wasn't really this kind of completely finessed yet. And it was still kind of fun and like a ramshackle sort of way. I liked it, and I liked the boldness of it, and I also loved some of the bits. I loved the whole Satan episode, Lucifer episode, the one in the diner, and
that was
the
excellent.
death were like 1, 2, 3, bing bang boom, great after another. What does that leave? Because so 7 should be Stranger Things. If Richard is there, I think that'll be my vote.
Yeah, you'd rank Stranger Things below The Sandman, because that's my main question. Is
just because
Sandman, Stranger Things,
of like how much chutzpah the Sandman had, and how much get up and go, and how much creativity and juice, where Stranger Things is a little more like clockwork watch, like Swiss watch kind of thing, and just it did drag in places. Interview with the Vampire I thought was great. I thought it was bold. I thought it was new. What would I put Interview with the Vampire and Sandman? I think I would put Sandman ahead of Interview with the Vampire, because Interview with the Vampire is an older story. They did a lot of great stuff to revive it. I thought they did a really good job pumping some new blood into it.
Nice.
And getting to look at these characters in a new way. I love the style. I love the acting. Yeah, I guess it was more or less great all the way through. I just don't think it quite reached the heights of some of the other ones. I think if I had my druthers, I would go Interview with the Vampire at 6, Sandman at 5, and I don't know where Severance fits in there. It should be 4 or somewhere in that area.
I think 4. So I will just, without having seen Interview with the Vampire, I would put that at 6, because I think The Sandman, one, just the sheer audacity of even making a show out of that comic. That Gaiman's been trying to get it made for years.
Took some balls.
And one thing that it did, and it's a wonderful thing about The Sandman, is that some of the episodes are so standalone that, like, that's the episode with Death is the kind of thing you could show someone who isn't even into these shows, and they would probably love it. I think it was more original. So, which is easy to say because, Interview has been done a few times already, or once already. So yeah, that's my feeling on it. And then Severance is the easy
And then
four
you think that
here.
Severance is better than this. I should watch Severance.
Sorry, I lost you there for a sec. I think
And then
Severance was
I'll trust you that Severance is better than this stuff.
I mean, don't trust me, trust Nicole, because she's over here saying Severance was a very unique show, way smarter than the others and very well done. And yeah, I agree with her. Severance asked its viewer to pay attention, and it was like a finely wrapped mystery gift that just gradually sucked you in and gave you new information. It's not as fantastical as the others, but it is way more expertly executed, and it did still hit the heartstrings too. It got both of those, but it's tough between Severance and the Sandman.
I wonder if Severance should be above Andor, but I haven't seen Severance. Because honestly, okay.
Nah.
So I think I know
I don't think so.
What I want for a top 3. Because honestly, look, Camilla's comment is not wrong. I'll be honest, I loved Andor, but I fell asleep every episode till episode 6. But Eddie, what about Eddie? Other people went crazy for that guy.
Eddie's awesome. Fine. What do you mean, what about Eddie?
Fine, he's awesome.
Fine. Whatever.
Yes. I'm gonna move out of there because of Eddie.
Awesome.
Yeah, fine. He's awesome. Yeah, good. He can shred real good. I agree with Camilla. Basic thrust in that comment that Andor was kind of sleepy sometimes, even though it really got to places. I love that it had something like to say. I mean, forget like Star Wars. Pretty much anything with that big a budget has as little to say as possible. But here we have like a freaking Star Wars show talking about the prison industrial complex and the banality of evil in a fascist state, and like the mechanization of the bureaucracy of government to kind of suppress people, to elongate their sentences, to just kind of drain the hope and color out of your life. Like again, that takes some major guts, and I really respect it for that. So, oh God, now I'm talking myself into wanting to argue for Andor, but it was sleepy. It had some sleepy bits. It was sleepy bits. Especially those first stretch. Andor's
tough.
Right now, I would go House of the Dragon, New Horizons, because I know you love that, and then Andor.
I do.
Why do you love it so much, Daniel?
That is what. So it's funny, you're talking about Andor as having something to say. I think that is something that New Horizons did exceptionally well this season as well, which I didn't expect, honestly, because the first two are kind of like comedy sci-fi. So you expect that that's what season 3 will be. But kind of what they did instead with most of season 3 is like each episode is its own story. And a lot of those stories are really, really impactful. The one I'll talk about that Richard mentioned, which I do think is one of the best ones. I don't think it's my favorite episode of the season, but that just shows you how good this season was. So A Tale of Two Topas is about this teenage alien who is basically transgender. She is forced to take a different gender when she's born because that is the way that their specific culture works. They don't allow females in this culture.
Oh, man.
And Tale of Two Topas puts you into her experience in a way that I've never seen done on television, where it wrangles with that idea of what happens when they become a teenager and start asking questions. I think the Orville tackled a lot of big ideas, which is just not something I expected from a Seth MacFarlane comedy show. And on top of that, the effects on the Orville were better than most anything on television this year. Equal to, they were like in a different level. It's like, you had things like House of the Dragon. I think Andor was up there too. The Orville is that same echelon of special effects. They had clearly been working on it for the past 3 years because of COVID. So yeah, it's hard, ranking something like that above Andor, because Andor was excellent, but yeah, I don't know. The Orville for me, it hit me emotionally in ways that I didn't expect, and more than any other show I've seen this year. So that's why I think it deserves to be up there. But I know you're taking a leap of faith because you haven't seen it.
I mean, I've really enjoyed the first seasons of the Orville, and I've done the second more than the first. So maybe it'll keep getting better. I mean, message shows. There's like a difference between like the kind of it's about something that Andor is about, just like kind of baked into the story, and then something like the Orville where it's a little more like here's the moral. It's not like that, but it's a little more clear what they're saying to you. It's not better or worse, but it's different.
It is different. I agree with that.
And then House of the Dragon is just kind of the story, and then you take what you want from it. I think that's a good top 3 because all of them, frankly, have some flaws that I would say. Because again, I haven't seen the Orville. Maybe it's perfect. But all of them
it's
really
got its flaws, especially in the first couple of episodes.
But all of them do things that are really, really great and really exciting.
Yeah.
And it was a good year for TV. I thought we had some really, really excellent stuff this year. I'm pretty happy with this list.
Yeah, I agree. And I think House of the Dragon, one thing we haven't talked about is how ambitious it was moving through basically 3 decades in one season of television. And that is no small feat. And I think they pulled it off better than any of us, better than we could have hoped for. Maybe they left some things out we would have liked to see, but it so easily could have been a giant mess. And instead it was really compelling. So yeah,
all 3 of those shows
I
and
feel
a few others take major swings, and I really respect that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed, and they all succeeded.
Yeah, and Camilla, my only big gripe with House of the Dragon was Rhaenys and Meleys in episode 9.
Oh, Camilla, don't get me started.
Fair gripe. You're gonna get it knocked down on the list, Camilla, because don't get us talking about that one.
I've made my peace with it and then move on. Nothing like God, I hate it so much. But yeah, I'm happy with this. If any of you, I'd love to hear your comments about what you would do differently, what shows you missed entirely, where you would put stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very curious. Daniel, do we have time for a lightning round, or we just want to peace out of this and go on with our lives?
It's up to you, Dan. I have time.
Okay, let's do lightning round.
I have time if you want to talk it. The one thing I will say before we get into the lightning round, Nicole asked, what shows are we looking forward to in 2023? Nicole, come back next week, because we are going to do a whole show about that next week, because there are a ton coming out next year.
The graph's coming back. You think it's the end of the graph? I don't think so.
Yes.
And then we'll take a couple weeks off for the holidays.
The month of graphs. Yes.
It's December, graph month. Okay, let's get this quick because I got dinner on the thing.
That's right.
All right.
Okay. Let's do it.
And Martha, we're watching Kindred, but we haven't seen it all the way through, so we didn't put it on. And Jeremy asked 533, 1899 I'm watching now. It was quite good. Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff this year. There's a lot of good stuff this year.
It really was.
But okay, we're gonna do this because we got to end the show. We can't end the show without a WiC News Lightning Round. We get 20 seconds on the clock and give our 20 second opinions. Okay, I'm gonna go first. I did not order any of these. Daniel,
great.
Emma D'Arcy, is nominated for a Golden Globe, but House of the Dragon is up for Best Drama, and Patty Considine up for nothing at the Golden Globes. Matt Smith.
Yeah, obviously very happy for Emma D'Arcy and House of the Dragon, but why is everyone snubbing Patty Considine?
Because he's not a name.
That's my response.
He's not a pit.
I don't get it. Because they didn't watch the show. That's the only reason he's getting snubbed. People watch the show.
Patty Considine justice bandwagon. Yeah.
Justice for Patty. Stupid. Don't make me start the hashtag Justice for Patty.
I'd love to.
All right. So cancellation time. There have been a lot of them this week, or a lot of weird cancellation type news. Netflix canceled Warrior Nun. Are you sad about that? How do you feel?
Well, I never really watched it, but I know a lot of people are very upset about it. Warrior Nun second season, kind of like a fantasy drama with some LGBTQIA plus overtones. I don't know if it was good or not. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it. No, too many shows.
I'm very sorry for the fans.
Same.
Okay. Same. Here's another word. One, Westworld and the Nevers are being pulled from HBO Max and shuttled off to fast streaming channels, which I'm not 100% clear on, but they are.
I hate this. So Fast, they're free ad-supported streaming TV. Peacock is Fast. Basically, it's cable, but streaming version of cable. And HBO is, yes, and HBO is considering getting into this. They pulled Westworld and the Nevers off from HBO Max. This is also effectively a cancellation for the Nevers. Season 1B will air someday on wherever they end up. I hate that. So I hate this so much. Read about it if you want to know more. I despise this news we just talked about.
All right.
Yeah. It's saving HBO money, basically. Okay. So gorgeous artwork alert. The World of Fire and Blood calendar is available now with gorgeous images like this one.
Very nice, right? Yeah. The World of Fire and Blood calendar out now. You can order it. It's full of 12 different months of 12 different pieces of art by different artists depicting images from Fire and Blood, and not just the Dance of the Dragons. Like, it's also like the Aegon stuff and the stuff that's going to lead up to that.
Yep,
looks really cool. Want a cool thing on your fridge? Why do you get this one? That could be a nice choice. Done. Okay, Daniel.
Yes.
Netflix is producing a live-action version of the anime My Hero Academia. You know a lot about that, right?
I don't. I know very little about it, aside from that a lot of people love My Hero Academia. I am just a little wary of Netflix making live-action anime adaptations because they have not had the best track record so far.
What producer is pushing for these?
They're just determined. They are determined to make... Yeah, I don't know. So
some weeaboo executive there just absolutely loves anime. Okay.
Yeah, anime is cool, but you don't need to remake it in live action because we already have the anime and it's pretty cool. All right, so this is a live action thing that should be live action. So the first image of Joaquin Phoenix and Joker Folie à Deux has been revealed.
Yes, the first image of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in Joker Folie à Deux, which is the sequel to Joker, which is going to be him and Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. You know, it reminded me of that scene from Game of Thrones where Reek is shaving Ramsay Bolton, and then he doesn't kill anybody. I'll watch it. Musical, Lady Gaga, Joaquin Phoenix. I'm in it. I'm into it. Sure, why not? Okay. Almost coming up here. Daniel, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, Season 2 will have 8 episodes and an all-female directing team.
I think that's wonderful. I don't know about the directors, but I think it's wonderful to see that kind of representation. I hope it's coming from an authentic place. Also, 8 episodes, I'm a little on the fence about, but that seems to be the format they're going for with the Rings of Power, and I don't think more episodes would make it better. So I feel good about that, I think.
The one woman who's directing 4 out of 8 is the person who directed the battle episode in season 1. That's nice.
Wow. Okay. So half the season. Well, that's awesome. That was one of the better episodes of the season.
That was the best one.
Glad that she's getting that recognition. Yeah, I agree. Right. All right. So, this is exciting. I hope this one's good. Sorry. The last one. So Amazon officially ordered a God of War television series. Ooh.
As Jeremy S533 said, yeah, it did. Again, video game series, Fallout, God of War, The Last of Us. You mentioned Cyberpunk Edge Runners. We got Arcane. Yes. We got a bunch of stuff. They're all over the place now. This one is another. This could be good. Like, it's a very story-based game. It could be a story-based TV show. You can catch Batista in there and say boy a lot. Yeah, I'll watch it. All right, and that is our show. Thanks for watching. We went a little over there. We're here every week. We're here every single week. Well, we're going to take 2 weeks off at the end of the year for the holidays. We're here next week. We're here next week at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on Wednesday on the Winners Coming Facebook page, the Winners Coming YouTube page. We'll be talking next week about the shows coming next year, and we're going to graph them out. So this has been, you can also listen to podcast form. iTunes, Google Play, wherever podcasts are available. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely evening. Graphs. Can't beat them.